Anyway, no, we don't want to do that. We just want to point out, and if they won't listen because I'm talking to them as friends, they can listen this way. They can hear what I'm saying and just kind of let their subconscious work on them. After all, I told Eric July through this show, I said, look, your views are down. Your channel is dying. And the reason why your channel is dying is because nobody wants to hear you talk about the Rippaverse. I don't think you understand what the Rippaverse is to to your fan base. The Rippaverse is like some fucking project that you've decided to take on. It's like you're like their kid, I guess, and you've decided that you want to start a rock band in the garage, and they have to support you, and they have to do what they can. And frankly, they don't want to hear the music. They just want you to be happy. So I said, they don't want to hear this. The reason why you have fans in the first place is because you used to make videos, fuck them hoe-ass roads. Like, you used to say things like that were really, really stupid, but kind of fun. And people wanted to see and hear you make political content, comment on what was going on at Marvel and DC and Disney and all this stuff. I said, people don't want to hear you talk about Rippaverse. Nobody really likes Rippaverse. There aren't people who really like Rippaverse. It's a vanity project that you're doing. You should get back to just get back to doing your political content. And it's like, yeah, let me see here. His videos lately. Pretty much microaggressions, blah, 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 blah. He's suddenly gotten back. All of these videos, all of these videos are exactly like, he's got one Rippaverse video here. He's got one Rippaverse video here. I don't know. Oh, what is this? My apologies. 11 minutes ago. Oh my God. Let's find out what this is. I haven't watched this. I don't know what this is. This is a Rippaverse apology video. Let's see it together here.
Friends that care about me have given me some very needed constructive advice recently. I've had some heart-to-heart private conversations, and for example, one of my bros, and Jeremy from G&G, he had to hear from me a lot about that whole...
Eric trimmed his beard, which I'm happy to see. Eric, trim your beard a little bit more. Just keep it trimmed down. It doesn't need to look like that. You don't need to do that. I know that there are some people in this space that let their beards grow really, really long, and it might look okay. It looks a little bit funny. Honestly, when, certain individuals let their beards just grow down to here, they look like sort of Mormon prophets from the 1800s. Not the best look in 2024, but it doesn't happen for you. For you, it grows out like this, and you look much better when you go ahead and whack that down a little bit. Much, much better. I like this.
Whole Zack Snyder situation when we spoke privately, and he took it. And like the good friend that he is, he reciprocates, man. And knowing that there's some things that I should improve on.
People reciprocate. Now, hold on a second. Let me back up here for a minute. Every frame of pause. I love it. Let me back up for just 1 minute, Eric. The Zack Snyder situation. Oh, my God. So if you don't know, the Zack Snyder situation was essentially Geeks and Gamers started working with an NFL football player. What was that guy's name? It began with a U. It was like Uganda or something like that. This guy, former NFL player, and because this guy had some connections, somehow, he was doing a show, like a sports show for Jeremy Griggs. Somehow he got connected with what's his name? Snyder, Zack Snyder. And Zack Snyder was in the process of putting out the HBO re-edited Zack Snyder version of his horrible, catastrophic bomb of a film, which I just got $8,000 for. Oh, it's Uche. Yeah, Uche. Oh, I just want to say shout out to I got my royalty, so they another $8,000 for that shitty film. Thank you, appreciate that. In addition to everything I got before, so thank you for that. Shout out. That's what Eric says. Anyway, Snyder appeared somehow. Uche got Snyder to appear on their channel A bunch of them were sitting up there looking like the Brady Bunch. And he, like, you know, the opening screen of the Brady Bunch. And Zack Snyder showed up and basically just called them all racist. It was really uncomfortable. Like, he just kind of said, look, I didn't agree to this. I didn't agree to be seen with Geeks and Gamers. I didn't agree. In fact, I told you in private not to brand my charity with your logo. And I really resent this. My movies are kind of about my movies save lives. There are Asians out there that are being beaten to death in the streets by people of color right now in California. Asian hatred and violence. And my movies are meant to stem that tide of Asian violence. And I resent being here with you. I feel like I was trapped here. I feel like I was tricked. Your videos, the things that you say, I feel increase the temperature of the hatred on the streets. And therefore, you know, all of you should be ashamed of yourself and fuck you. So I didn't say fuck you, but it was kind of like that, right? That's what I heard. When I was watching it, like I was getting something else. I heard him directly say, fuck you guys. That's what I heard, you know, through the screen. So I got very, very angry, and I said, let me on there. Let me on. I was in the audience. Now, ordinarily, Jeremy would be like, you want the link? Here you go. But he was gatekeeping me from that particular episode. I don't know why. So I said, fine, I'm going to go over and do it on my channel. And I went on my channel, and I raised holy fucking hell. And then all of his audience came over to listen to me, including Eric July. Eric July came and sat on that stream and agreed with me. And then eventually, kind of sheepishly, Jeremy Griggs asked me for my link, and I let him in where you guys roasted the hell out of him. And that's why, if people want to know why Jeremy Griggs is mad at me, Jeremy Griggs is mad at me because I sat him there on the stream after lecturing everybody about how that was the worst thing possible to allow Zack Snyder to insult this audience and call them racist and imply that they're a hate group without anyone, nobody having the courage to stand up to him and say something else. And by the way, what's his name here? Eric July and Nerdrotic agreed with me in private. So Jeremy's just sitting there hearing all this, and you guys are pouring super chats in. And every super chat is calling Jeremy Griggs a cuck. And I said, I'm sorry, these are super chats. I've got to read them. And Jeremy said, I understand. Okay, so we got $10 here from Grumpy Old Ninja saying, Jeremy Griggs, fuck you. You're a cuck. You're a piece of shit. How dare you? What a loser. How do you? Okay. That was rough. Here's another $5 super chat from Jeremiah M. And anyway, that went on all night. And Jeremy sat there. And I said, I'm sorry. These are super chats. I said, oh, that's it. That's all the super chats. Oh, no, wait. There's a whole other list of super chats that I've got to read. So I did that to Jeremy. Jeremy in private complained that he felt that I'd monetized him. Now, I didn't monetize him at all. You guys gave me money to yell at him. I didn't mean to monetize him. I wasn't even trying to make any money. I was just talking about what had happened there and how angry I was. And you guys were angry too. And you were paying me to yell at Jeremy. I honestly, it would have gone the same way. I would have said the same shit if I had received $0.00, because that's who I am. Eric July apparently is now saying that he took Jeremy aside in private and had a man-to-man discussion with Jeremy. Now, I think what this is trying to say, what Eric is trying to say here is that Ethan should have done that. He's saying, I did that, and Eric July did that, but Ethan should have said whatever he wanted to say to Jeremy in private. A lot of that. There's this sort of like demand for secrecy and keeping you guys out of what goes on. I don't agree with that. I think we're YouTubers. I think any complications, difficulties, disagreements that we have should be aired out in public. That's what I think. And they call that drama farming. I call that honesty. I call that respecting the audience. Anyway, that's what Eric July is saying here.
To hear from me a lot about that whole Zack Snyder situation when we spoke privately. And he took it. And like the good friend that he reciprocates, man. And knowing that there's some things that I should improve on, he recently let me hear it. And It was perspective that I needed, and it was also echoed by other people. It's been difficult sort of adjusting to this new reality. I went from being the streamer that was very interactive with even my haters to now the owner of a multi-million-dollar business. And though I've gotten better,
we're all the owners of multi-million-dollar businesses. All of our YouTube channels make millions of dollars. Here's the thing, like YouTube actually lets us keep the money though. Eric, I'm pretty sure your YouTube channel makes, have you made close to, you know, I don't know, I'm not sure, maybe not. I don't think your business is worth millions of dollars. I don't, sorry.
Not completely shook off those old habits. That's part of learning to move differently. And I have to learn to accept that this is a new chapter. That's why I've been saying that I'm moving differently in 2024. The growth.
Who told you move differently? Who put that phrase in your head? What person in your life said you've got to move differently? No human being on the face of the fucking earth uses the phrase move differently for anything. Nobody says that. You say that every single goddamn day, and you move exactly the same. You're still doing everything that you used to do, except now you seem to be afraid of confrontation. Who says move differently? It is the weirdest thing in the world, dude. It sounds like this. I'm moving differently. You're not moving differently. Why? Who told you that? See, this is the thing about, like, whatever I say, whatever anybody else says goes into his brain, and he's like, it is NPC programming, and he just spits it out. It becomes like a caricature. Stop saying move differently. Stop it. God damn it. It's enough. Sorry.
Growth of the Rippaverse changed everything, including my own life. The one thing I admittedly do not like are people going after my employees and friends, and our explosion made some people feel some kind of way, and unfortunately, this means that people will be caught in the crossfire. I have no problem making myself vulnerable with this, but as an example, the Sasa Sisters have been nothing but awesome to myself, this company, and its fans. I take great exception to the recent attacks against them, and they're being penalized for decade-old
Here's Eric July from June 28th, 2022. This is just 18 months ago. 18 months ago, Eric July said this: if you employ people, do not hire SJWs. I'm not talking about someone with one liberal view. I'm talking about raging SJWs. There are talented, non-leftist people needing work, and they won't be nearly the headache. Parallel economy. Reciprocate. I don't know what these have to do with anything. Why? What happened? What happened? What's going on with these two young ladies? These two daughters of Satan. What is going on with you? They are SJWs, Eric. Why are you white knighting for radical left-wing feminist? I honestly can't fucking believe it. You are moving differently. 100% correct. Sorry, baby, I'm yelling again. I hear Andrew upstairs. She's like, oh, Ethan's down there yelling. How is this guy like this? I really, truly don't understand. There's some attacks on the Sasa Sisters. You're hiring satanic. You're hiring, you actually called it a witch hunt, which was pretty funny. You know, earlier today, you were on a live stream with, what's his name? Heel versus Babyface. And I tuned in for a minute. And a minute was all I needed. I couldn't take very much of it, dude. It really is dumb. They talk about, like, video games and, you know, it's not very bright stuff. And here's what you said. You said this just today. This is unbelievable, dude. This is what you said just today. Square this circle for me, Eric.
Not just gaming, but and obviously in comic books. They invited these fuckers in.
Yes.
And they didn't have a nutsack to say, okay, fuck off. Like
because sheep were inviting the wolves in.
yeah,
That's
They're talking about feminists, by the way. I might add. They were talking about feminists when they said this. They're talking about feminists. Oh, sheep invited. They don't have the nutsack. Okay.
why. And then the wolves just went, oh, I'm going to fucking eat you all. And you're going to pay me for it.
yeah, you're gonna pay me to fuck your shit up. That's
Yeah.
Yes,
what's gonna
Eric.
happen.
That's what the Sasa Sisters are saying. You're going to pay me. And by the way, twice as much. For some reason, you've got this thing about doubling. You've got this thing about it taking two people to do the work of one person. You know, you've got Kanan White to sort of make sure that your artist on ISOM actually draws something. And then you're paying two writers to do the job of one, and these two sisters, these two twins. How could you have said, hold on, let me start this over again. In context, now you know they were talking about feminists ruining video games.
not just gaming, but and obviously in comic books. They invited these fuckers in,
You did.
Yes.
and they didn't have a nutsack to say, okay, fuck off. Like
Because sheep were inviting the wolves in.
yeah,
That's why. And then the
Yeah.
wolves just went, oh, I'm going to fucking eat you all. And you're going to pay me for it.
yeah, you're gonna pay me to fuck your shit up.
Yeah.
That's
That's
right.
what's gonna happen. You're gonna pay me to fuck your
You're
shit
gonna
up. And
pay
this
them
is
to
That is
why-
fuck
the
your
mantra
shit
of
up.
Sweet Baby Inc.
Yes, you pay
Yeah.
me for I'll fuck it up. That should
Yeah.
be a new like slogan. Sweet baby, if you're watching this, you
We
can
will
adopt that.
fuck up your shit.
They will. Yeah. that's
There you
true.
go. You can have that one for free for sure. But seriously,
It's funny, but seriously, how do you not see this? You know what? I mean, here's the whole thing. I understand that, you know, these young ladies are friendly and everything. But you understand that Kelly Sue DeConnick, everybody says the same thing about her in the comic book industry. Those young ladies, those individuals who you have been saying ruined the comic book industry for the past 6 years, everybody says the same thing about them. They love them. They're so friendly. They're just, hey, everybody. So, I mean, you understand, you know, it's like what you're saying here. You have been hypnotized. Those young ladies are radical, intersectional feminists, and they make no bones about it. Those young ladies have very, very strange tastes in entertainment, horror, all of these things. Those young ladies have instincts to subvert, you know, what it is that we're building here, that everybody's building this space outside of the space that they already ruined. I mean, that's why we're here. We're here doing this because they have poisoned the ground in the mainstream. So we've got to do this. Eric, you know, listen, I'm telling you, and we're telling you, I think everybody is telling you at this point. I think they're probably really nice young ladies, like personable, but they are exactly the forces that you were fighting against your entire YouTube career. This is a moment to find out if you had the nutsack to tell them to fuck. What did you say? Hold on a second. Let me double check that again. What did you say that everybody should have done but couldn't do?
not just gaming, but and obviously in comic books. They invited these fuckers in.
Right. That's what you did. And you made them editors of your company. And you made them, what did you say? Keepers of the lore? So they're the ones who get to decide the continuity and of the Rippaverse? That's what they're doing? Okay.
And they didn't have a nutsack
They didn't have a nutsack to do what?
to say, okay, fuck off.
Right. They didn't have the nutsack. They didn't have a nutsack to say, okay, fuck off. I do. By the way, don't hire any women ever. Don't, dude. Just don't do it. It's a bad idea. No matter what, women in men's spaces, only bad things can happen. Only terrible things can happen. Is this irrelevant? You leave those good Irish boys, the irrelevance, out of this. They're they're from Dublin. Okay, here we go. Let's go back to his apology video here. He's talking about people being caught in the crossfire of this war that he is imagining in his head. And really, nobody's being caught in the crossfire at all. All right, go ahead.
Out of context posts. One in particular is them, twins spotting other twins from a set van and tweeting about it. Of course, with horror, there's going to be some.
Well, what actually happened was, and I don't have that photo pulled up. Listen, there's a picture that they took and they posted to motherfucker. I'm here to do it. This is my job. I'm here to undo all these lies. That's what TRASHCAST is. I just said that on Twitter today. I said, you know what I'm going to do here? My job is going to be to undo the lies and the bullshit that's being said here. And I don't want to because I'm tired and I'm, a little bit lazy. I had a long day today. But no. I'll do it. I'll do it. And we'll take a look at this photo that he's saying is out of context. And et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, this was something that I saw and I kind of went, this is no big deal. Like, I'm not gonna make a big deal about this. Because yeah, it's not what people are saying it is, but it's also really inappropriate. And if these were my kids, I would be pissed. I would be absolutely pissed about this. This was a big deal 2 days ago. And by the way, the other thing about this is we don't talk about things that are actually like, we're not talking about the vomit porno, are we? Maybe we are. Maybe we get to that. I hope we get to that with this guy. And there we go. Share this instead. Sasa Sisters. Taking pics from the Luca Gore film rape van. Hold on a second here. Taking pics from the Luca Gore film rape van of twin little boys on the street. So cute. That's legit twinning. These two little kids on the street. Creepy individual here. You can kind of see them in the mirror. Objects in mirror closer than they appear. Watch out, little kids. There's some spooky women who are sisters who kiss each other, tongue kiss each other in vomit, pissing, incest porno videos. I guess you'd call them porno videos because like you have to be 18, I think, to see them. That's porno. And they're taking pictures of these two kids and they're calling them twins and they're relating because they're twins too. And we know what they do because they're twins. And in spite of the fact that they are twins, and they're shooting from the rape van, from a rape van. That's inappropriate. Eric, that's inappropriate. And I know it happened a long time ago, like 9 years ago, but you can't defend that. Like, that's not appropriate. Like, that's not cool. Like, can you imagine you're walking down the street and with your children, and then these young ladies here, hold on, these two ladies are taking photographs of your kids from their rape van. Eric, what are you talking about? I don't. Oh, it's out of context, though. From a long time ago. All right, let's go back to Eric here. And this is the thing about, like, videos like this with Eric. Like, he kind of, like, will rush through these points, and so you're just, like, you just take them for granted. No, we'll take apart every single word you say, Eric. I think you're a liar. And I don't like you. And I used to like you. We used to have a lot of fun together. But I think you're a liar. That's my opinion. You're a liar. And I don't like you. I've decided that over the past 3 days. Took me a minute, I caught up with some other people, I guess. But I don't like you because I don't think you're honest at all. And that's my opinion. Here we go.
Some things that people find repugnant, and I don't need to defend anything, justify anything that I had nothing to do with. It can be inappropriate, raunchy, and degenerate, but I don't have to disavow something that I had.
You hired them and you put them in charge of your company, where you are selling comic books to a largely Christian audience. You realize that your audience is probably mostly Christian, right? Because most of the people that are buying your books are like, hey, I really disagree with what's going on with the mainstream. I feel like they don't reflect my values and disrespect my values actively. And so, you look at your face. You're like, I don't have to disavow any. And the video game people that you and Egghead over there were just laughing about, they don't have to disavow anything either. They didn't have to do anything like that. Didn't you call them wolves that were led in by dumb sheep? Isn't that what you were just saying? They don't have to disavow. They don't have to take credit for ruining your shit. What if your shit, the shit that you're making, means something to Christian people who are buying it for $35 and more? People who are opening new credit cards and going into debt for $700 in some cases to support you because they believe that you would never stand for this, that you know this is wrong. What do you want to say to them? I don't have to say anything to them. I don't owe them nothing. What about your code of ethics? Respect the customer. What about your specific customers? You care about your customers at all? Do you care about them? I mean, you get them their product on time. I could learn a thing or two about you from you about that, in regards to that. My books are take a little bit longer, but there's no Satanism or feminism in them, which is good. But I mean, you realize you're employing people who probably spit on your customer base and their beliefs.
Had nothing to do with. But some are taking these films that they've acted in very early on in their careers, and they're treating it as if they were real. Everybody that has worked with them, from Dean Cain to Glenn Jacobs, they always have nothing but good things to say about them. And they've grown so much as individuals. I've had those conversations with Jen.
Those films actually were kind of real. They were kissing each other, which I guess, incest, when you're tongue kissing your sister, and in the film, you're not even pretending that you're not sisters. You are sisters. And you are actually like drinking real urine, according to somebody's testimony, having seen. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not watching this film. And you are vomiting on each other. And the guy who made these films is somebody who prided himself on realism because he was fucking his sister until she committed suicide. Some of that's real, Eric. Some of that, it's art, Ethan. It's called art, says Froghorn. That's true. You're right. You're absolutely right about that. It is art. It is art. And nevertheless, it is also disgusting, repellent, and of the devil. And it can still be art and be that as well. That stuff is real, Eric. It's actually real. All right.
And about reconnecting with God, and those conversations have been amazing. And truly, that's who she answers to, not me or you. You all know how young and dumb I was, so I take exception, again, to people operating as if repentance, forgiveness, and growth aren't a thing.
Why don't they say that? Where are they? Are they in this? Let me scan ahead. Oh, they're not. They're not in this.
Social media mobs trying to claim that there are these satanic feminist SJWs trying to infiltrate is insane. I'll give you another example. They are now against this trans stuff that's being pushed onto these minors, and you can see that maturation yourselves in those conversations that we've had about stuff on our streams.
Put them here. Have them say that. Talk about how they found Jesus Christ and renounce all of this stuff. Because they're still talking about trans stuff as of 2 years ago, Eric. I appreciate your speaking for them, but I don't believe you. And frankly, I'm not even sure I believe them.
After all, I did learn about them writing Marvel's Black Widow, a story in which Nat takes it to traffickers and pedophiles, which is far more recent a thing to judge them by. It sucks that people are attacking them due to these social political views that they also no longer even have. They are not some raging SJWs, and this has nothing to do with them, as they are a means to an end. They are being used to simply attack me and having to relive things that they've long moved on from. But I will never fire anybody over social media mobs and will stand by my employees. As I've said before, I wanted to solve economic problems by building this business as well.
Eric, they're currently working on another SJW version of, I mean, currently, right now, they're making a movie about, you know, a lesbian and a strong black female lead who are fighting zombies, Night of the Living Dead. It's called, what is it called? Promenade of the Living Dead, something like that. Where are they to denounce all of these things? I want to hear about how they've turned their lives over to Jesus Christ. I'd love to hear that. That'd be amazing. Why are you here saying this and not them? Bizarre. I'd love to hear that. That'd be awesome.
Well, I don't want people to feel like their livelihoods are controlled by mobs instead of their performance. Even if what I said about these individual politics, if it weren't the case, it wouldn't matter because it has nothing to do with the Rippaverse. We don't do that political hive mind thing over here. I will work with anybody that respects our vision and our customers as long as they are good for the job. I'm protective of what we are building. Even I separate my personal political views from the content of the Rippaverse. Find the irony in an ANCAP creating a superhero cop team like Alpha Corps. Everybody knows to leave it all at the door, and should personal views get in the way of business, they won't be here. We can't really be infiltrated. I'm the 100% sole owner. We don't have a board, and we bring people in based on merit. However, I'll never be a fan of cancel pigs going after people that work for us or with us. They don't deserve that. This has even happened with content creators being roped into foolishness that they want no parts of. I started this company to fix problems and have a return to normalcy. I can only control what I can control. I have a lot more clarity, though, in what I need to do. I've reached a status that transcends anything I've done before. I'm going to be loved, and I'm certainly going to be hated. And people are going to make up some wild things about myself and my company, and there's nothing I can do to really change that. Lies claiming that I've attacked other creators that I never did. Lies about me attacking economic models that I never did. Lies about our company's cash flow and funding. There's nothing I can do to really change the perception that some people have of me. They'll conjure up whoever they need me to be for their own narratives. So here's what I'm going to do. I need to fully embrace being the owner of a multi-million-dollar business.
You keep
and
saying
I need
this.
to show that with my online interaction.
Eric, you keep saying stuff like this. You keep saying that you're going to move differently and that you're going to accept suddenly being the owner of a multi-million-dollar business. You keep saying these silly things. And also, you're holding every other... You've spent your time on YouTube holding every other company to a completely different standard that you refuse to hold yourself to. They are SJWs, Eric. No matter what they tell you. I've been through this. I've seen it. And I've also heard people like Dan DiDio say exactly the same thing that you said. We just hire people. All we do here at DC is we hire people based on merit. 2010, Dan DiDio was up at a pulpit convention, I think it was WonderCon, being confronted by a bunch of feminists who said, why aren't there more women working for DC Comics? There should be more women working here. And Dan said, what do you mean? Like, we hire whoever's best for the job. Women are best for the job. And then they started listing, what names? Started listing some of the most heinous feminists, the ones that you've been talking about with heel versus babyface, the ones that you talk about with Nerdrotic, and backed Dan into a corner. Dan hired them all. Dan went from 1% female creators at DC and ballooned it all the way up to like 22%. And they subverted the company, and he had to go. He's no longer there. He lost control of DC Comics. And DC Comics is what it is now. Exactly what, as I describe it, strange women came in, Strange women, initially they come in and they're very happy to be here. They're really excited. They start love bombing everyone. Some people buy into it. And then they start making changes. Eric, you're no different than anyone else. You're not. In fact, you're dumber. Eric, you're dumber than Dan DiDio. Way dumber. You're dumber than everyone else who still thought that they could resist this. That they were too smart, that they were too powerful. Way dumber. They're going to subvert your company, Eric, if it's still around. They will. Watch. It's not going to happen right away. It'll take a minute, but they are going to do that. This is just how it happens. It's amazing that you spent this long on YouTube talking about SJWs and you still don't understand them, and you were immediately seduced by them. Immediately. With your $1 million company.